Everyone, this is Anil Kumar, and today's topic is complex compounds. So, in the objectives for JEE Mains and NEET, there may be a question coming from these complex compounds, and sometimes in the NEET, they may ask two questions from these complex compounds. So, let us begin the class. In the complex compounds, first we have to know what is meant by a complex. For example, let us take K4 FeCN taken 6. This is one compound. And let us take one more compound, KCl MgCl2 6H2O. This is one molecule. So in this molecule, this is called as complex molecule, and this is called as double salt. So what is the main difference between this complex and double salt is when we dissolve this in any solvent, then this complex will be ionized to 4K plus, and the complex FeCN taken 6 4 minus. So we get 4K plus ions, and this complex FeCN taken 6 minus 4 or 4 minus. So even on dissolving in solvent, the complex does not lose its identity. But whereas this double salt, when it is dissolved in water or any solvent, it ionizes to K plus, Cl minus, and magnesium is ionized to Mg plus 2, and two chlorines are ionized to 2Cl minus. So in this way, we will be getting all the ions K plus, Cl minus, Mg plus 2, and 2Cl minus. Whereas here, this FeCN taken 6 is not getting ionized, and you perform any test for the iron, this complex compound will not respond for the test of the iron. Why means this FeCN is not getting ionized. So what is this Fe and this cyanide? They are not getting ionized, so they does not give any positive test for these elements. But whereas if you perform any test for first group cations or second group cations or this chloride ions, all this salt will be responded. So that is a main difference between a complex and a double salt. So a complex will never lose its identity, whereas the double salt, it will be ionized and it immediately loses its identity. So that is the main difference between a complex and a double salt. Let's say complex how. So if you take the previous example, that is K4 FeCN taken 6. So in this K plus ions which are getting ionized, so this is called as ionization sphere. So this is producing ions, so this is called as ionization sphere. Whereas this complete one, this is called as complex sphere. Complex sphere. And now when we ionize this, we have already seen this will give 4 K plus ions, and Fe1 complex ion, that is FeCN taken 6 minus 4, or you can, actually it is not minus 4, you have to write this as 4 minus 4 minus. Now here in this complex sphere, the iron, this is called as the central metal, and around this central metal there are 6 cyanides, and this cyanide is called as ligand. So ligand is nothing but the neutral or charged species which is surrounding the central metal. And the number 6, so whatever this number 6 is there, this 6 will tell about coordination number. So this is a basic information we must know about a complex. So this is coordination number. And now based on the coordination number, the we can also tell the structure. And in the complexes, mostly you will be getting from coordination number 4. Like if coordination number is 4, is 4, then the expected hybridization is sp3, and the shape of this molecule is nothing but tetrahedral. And the same coordination number 4 sometimes can also have dsp2 hybridization, and this will have a shape of a square planar. And you can also have 5, which is nothing but sp3d, which is trigonal bipyramidal. And next we can have 6. In the 6 also we get 2 hybridizations. One is sp3d2, and another one is d2sp3. And in both the cases the structure is same, that is octahedral. So based on the coordination number we can know the hybridization, and based on the hybridization we can know the shape also. So this is about shape, and this is the hybridization, and this is the coordination number, so which is very important. So once again see here, so if a complex is there, if it is ionized, we get one ionization sphere and one complex sphere. And in the complex sphere we have a central metal and a ligand and a coordination number. Now let us see the types of ligands. The ligands are of different types, like they can be monodentate, and they can be bidentate, and they also can be polydentate. So monodentate means it can attack from one side, one bonding side. There will be only one bonding side for the monodentate. So examples, they can be neutral like H2O. So this is a monodentate ligand, and it can be a Cl minus, or it can be a bromide ion Br minus, or it can be NH3. So all this comes under monodentate, or it can be NO plus, etc. Next, when coming to bidentate, bidentate means they have two binding sides with the metal. So they are bonded with two sides with the metal. And whenever bidentate is there, one bidentate will give two coordination number. If in a complex there are three bidentate ligands, it indicates the coordination number is 6. So an example for this is CH2, CH2, NH2, NH2. So this is simply denoted as ene. So whenever in the complex ene is given, it is nothing but it is a bidentate. So it is bonded with two nitrogens to the metal, and its name is ethylene diamine, or you can also write 1 comma 2 ethane diamine. Next, you can also take one more, which is COO minus, COO minus, and this is generally denoted by oxo, and this is nothing but oxalate ion. And when coming to polydentate, there will be more than 3 binding sites, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in our syllabus, we have only coordination number up to 6. And a best example for this polydentate, I am writing hexadentate. It is ethylene diamine tetraestate, which is taken as EDTA 4 minus. And this is an example for hexadentate. So it contains 6 bonding sites. Whenever there is one EDTA means it indicates its coordination number is equal to 6. And whenever there is ethylene diamine, then the coordination number is 2. And oxo is also 2. And these are all nothing but monodentate. This H2O, Cl minus and this Br minus, they are all nothing but monodentate. And there is one more which is called as ambidentate. So in this ambidentate, it have two bonding sites in one molecule. So example Cn minus. So here the nitrogen is attached to the metal, and another one is Nc minus. So here this carbon is attached to the ligand metal, and you can also take NO2 or ONO. So these are some examples of ambidentate ligands. So these are all different types of ligands. So after ligands, let us see how to calculate oxidation number of a complex. Suppose a complex is given K3, Fe, Cn taken 6. And if you want to calculate the oxidation state of iron. So generally in the previous classes we discussed how to calculate oxidation state. So here the potassium is nothing but +1. So 3 potassiums. So it is +3. And iron take it as X. And 6 cyanates. Cyanate charge is -1. So it is -6 equal to 0. X is equal to +3. So this is oxidation state of iron. And along with this, we must also know how to write the electronic configuration of this iron when it is having +3 charge. So Fe plus 3. Let us write the configuration of Fe plus 3. So before going to the configuration, in this Fe is nothing but atomic number is 26, and its original configuration is argon 4s1, sorry 4s2. So up to 4s2 it is 20. So 26. So it is 3d6. So this is the configuration of Fe. Now we are writing the configuration of Fe plus 3. So whenever you are writing Fe plus 3 indicates there is loss of 3 electrons. So first we have to remove the electrons from the s orbital. Why means the outermost orbit is not 3, it is actually 4. So first we have to remove electron from the second this 4s orbital, and then we have to remove electron from this d orbital. So now the configuration we get is it is argon, so 4s 0 3d 5. So don't never remove electrons from this 3d. So some students will take this as plus 3, so they will remove electrons from this and they write 4s to 3d3. So 4s to 3d3 is wrong. So first we have to remove electron from the fourth orbit. Outermost orbit is 4. After removing electrons from the outermost s orbital, then we have to remove electrons from the d. So remember this point. Now let us take one more example. Cr H2O taken 6, taken 6 Cl3. So now let us find the oxidation state of this chromium. We have to find oxidation state of chromium. So here chromium is taken as X and water is a neutral. So water does not have any charge. So you can directly take it as 0 and 3 chlorines are there. So it is equal to minus 3 equal to 0. So now X is equal to plus 3. Now let us write the configuration of chromium plus 3. So for writing the configuration of chromium plus 3, first let us write the original configuration of chromium. So chromium atomic number is 24 and its configuration is argon 4s1 3d 5. So to get the stable configuration, one electron from this 4s is taken by d. So this is 4s1 3d 5. And now plus 3 charge. So when plus 3 charge is there, first we have to remove one electron from the 4s and then we have to remove two electrons from this d. Now the configuration what we get is it is argon, so 4s 0 and it is 3d 3. So this is how we calculate oxidation state and we write the configuration of this ion, central ion. So in this way you try to find the oxidation state of some complex by taking any material, and also try to write the configurations. So how to write this configuration for the ions. So if you are thorough with this, next we can go for the next topic. It is nomenclature. So for the nomenclature, we have to know how to calculate this oxidation state. So that's why we have discussed this oxidation states. So in the next class, we will be discussing the nomenclature of these complex compounds. So that's all. Thank you.